You know, we have this peculiar idea about freedom. We think it's something we acquire, something we achieve by gathering enough money, enough security, enough knowledge about how the world works. But I don't mean freedom in that sense. I don't mean the freedom to have more, to control more, to hold on tighter. I mean the freedom that comes when you finally stop trying to hold on at all, when you really begin to see through the game. And here's what nobody tells you. Being spiritually awake doesn't mean you finally have all the answers. It means you're finally comfortable with the questions. Do you ever feel like you're watching a film that everyone else thinks is real? Like you're sitting in the cinema and everyone around you is weeping and cheering at the drama on the screen, and you're sitting there thinking, it's only light and shadow. Nobody tells you this, but the first sign of awakening isn't bliss, it's isolation. It's that quiet voice asking, is this really all there is? You see the frantic energy. You feel the weight of other people's expectations, their unspoken demands, their desperate need for you to stay asleep and play your part in their script. And if you're highly sensitive, you feel this twice as intensely. It's like walking through a room where everyone is shouting and you're the only one who can hear the echo. What if everything we've been taught about success, about identity, about what we're supposed to be doing with this precious life, what if it's all backwards? Here's where the danger begins, because when you start to wake up, the world will try to put you back to sleep. It will tell you that you're too much or not enough, that you're broken for not fitting in. But you're not broken. You're just waking up to a dream that others are still deeply invested in. Let me share with you the 5 truths that, once you see them clearly, will quietly and permanently set you free.
The first thing you must understand is this: the search itself is the cage. We spend our lives searching for meaning, for purpose, for that one secret piece of information that will finally make everything make sense. We read the books, we attend the seminars, we follow the teachers. It's like we're trying to find the door out of the room, but we're so busy studying the walls that we never notice the door was never locked. Think of it this way. Imagine a fish swimming through the ocean, desperately searching for water. It swims faster and faster, asking every other fish it meets, "Where is the water? I need to find the water." And the other fish, equally confused, say, "We're looking too. Let's form a group. Let's study the maps. Let's find a teacher who can tell us where the water is." But the water is everywhere. It's the only thing there is. I once knew someone who spent 20 years traveling to ashrams, collecting spiritual certificates, learning ancient languages, and he was more anxious than when he started. He had traded one identity, the anxious businessman, for another, the anxious seeker. And here's the profound part. The feeling that you need to find something is exactly what prevents you from seeing that you already are everything you're looking for. This is why the search must end, not because you've found the answer, but because you've realized you were the answer all along. The second, even more important truth: your thoughts are not telling you the truth. Now this sounds simple, but let it land. You have probably lived your entire life assuming that the voice in your head is you, that the constant commentary, the judgment, the worry, the planning, that this is your authentic self speaking your truth. But it isn't. It's just noise. It's the software running in the background, installed by parents, by culture, by every advertisement you've ever seen. It's like looking at a map of a city and thinking you visited it. The map is useful, yes, it helps you navigate. But would you dine at a restaurant on the map? Would you sleep in a hotel on the map? The map is a description. It is not the territory. Watch what happens in your mind right now. Just notice. There's a thought, then another, then another. They're like clouds passing through a vast sky.
And you, the real you, are not the clouds. You are the sky. The sky is never harmed by the clouds. It isn't made better by a sunny day or worse by a storm. It simply contains it all. Do you ever feel exhausted by your own mind, like you can't turn it off? That exhaustion comes from mistaking the weather for your identity. The truth that sets you free here is this: you don't have to believe everything you think. In fact, the most liberating moment comes when you realize that most of it is just old, recycled noise, and you can simply let it pass. The third thing, which is perhaps the most insidious, you cannot save anyone who does not want to be saved. For the sensitive soul, for the empath, this is the hardest truth of all. Because you feel things, you feel the pain in the room, you sense the unspoken cry for help, and your instinct, your beautiful, compassionate instinct, is to rush in and fix it, to absorb it, to carry it for them. But here's the dangerous part. If you dive into the water to save someone who is drowning and they are thrashing in panic, what happens? They will push you under. They will drown you trying to save themselves. It's not malice, it's panic, and you end up with two people drowning instead of one. Consider this situation. You're in a relationship or a friendship, and you are constantly giving, constantly adjusting, constantly shrinking yourself so they can feel bigger. And you tell yourself this is love. But is it? Or is it a quiet contract where you've agreed to lose yourself so they don't have to find themselves? Even Jesus walked away from crowds. Even the Buddha left his disciples to sit under the tree alone. This isn't cruelty, it's the deepest respect, because when you refuse to carry someone else's burden, you leave them standing on their own 2 feet. And sometimes that's the only way they discover they can stand. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are not here to be consumed. You are here to shine. And you can't shine if you've given all your light away. And the fourth, the most critical of all, the feeling of not belonging is actually a sign that you belong to a different story. Society has a very narrow definition of belonging. It says, belong by agreeing, belong by consuming, belong by being predictable. And if you can't do those things, it labels you the outsider, the weird one, the one who is too sensitive. But think about it this way. If you try to plant a redwood tree in a desert, it will wither. The desert will tell the redwood it's not good enough. Why can't you survive on 1 drop of rain a year, the desert asks. And the redwood, if it could speak, would say, because I am not meant for the desert, I am meant for the mountains. The feeling that you don't fit here, in the corporate world, in shallow social circles, in a culture obsessed with speed and noise, that feeling is not a flaw, it's a compass. It's pointing you somewhere else, not to a physical place necessarily, but to a different way of being, a way that honors depth, that honors silence, that honors the slow unfolding of things. Do you feel that pull, that longing for something you can't quite name? That's not loneliness, that's homesickness for a world that doesn't exist yet, a world you are here to help create. The people who feel like misfits are often the ones who eventually reshape the world, because they weren't willing to settle for the world as it was given to them. And the fifth truth, which ties them all together, you are already free. You've just forgotten how to play. We take life so seriously. We treat it like a problem to be solved, a test to be passed. And in that seriousness, we miss the whole point. The universe, this entire cosmos, is not a machine. It's a celebration. It's a dance. The stars aren't calculating their orbit. They're dancing through space. The trees aren't trying to grow. They're just expressing what they are. But here's what nobody tells you. When you stop trying to be free, you realize you always were. The struggle to reach the shore is what keeps you flailing in the water. The moment you stop struggling, you float, and you see that you are never going to sink anyway. The water holds you up. It always has.
So here we are, back to where we started. You came here looking for freedom, for the truth that would unlock the cage, and we've spent this time exploring 5 different keys: the end of the search, the unreliability of thought, the boundary of saving others, the wisdom in not belonging, the remembrance of play. All of these connect because they point to one thing. The beautiful secret is this: you are not the one who needs to be fixed. You are the awareness that was watching the one who thought they were broken. You are not failing at life. You are waking up to it. And waking up is uncomfortable. It's the stiffness of consciousness returning to a body that's been asleep too long. But the numbness is fading, and the feeling is returning. And yes, that includes the pain, but it also includes the profound, overwhelming beauty of simply being here, right now, in this moment, with no agenda other than to witness it. The next time you find yourself caught in the search, worrying if you're awake enough or evolved enough, remember what we've explored today. Remember the fish looking for water. Stop swimming, just float. You are the universe experiencing itself, not a flawed human trying to reach the universe. You are it, right now, reading these words, hearing this voice. This is the dance, and the game never ends. It just gets more and more interesting the moment you stop trying to win. And so the journey continues, quietly, deeply, beautifully.